Police state.
China tests facial recognition on world's longest sea bridge. The People's Republic of China is about to get some FaceTime by the truckloads. Some drivers on the new Hong Kong-Zhuhai bridge will undergo facial recognition, fingerprint analysis, and temperature-taking thermal scans as Beijing tries to quicken border crossings. This will only be used at one immigration lane initially. Intellifusion, the company behind it, says it is 99.5% accurate. That bridge, Tomo Sapiens, is actually the longest of its kind in the world, measuring a whopping 39 kilometers. That includes the bridge itself, an underwater tunnel, and 2 artificial islands. According to the South China Morning Post, the technology will match the driver and car with pre-registered immigration data. Once cleared, the driver can move on. If you're a permanent resident of Hong Kong with a China travel permit, you'll be cleared to go with no need to present your papers. But you better not be a sleepy driver. Citing Chinese media, Reuters reports facial recognition technology will also be used to warn yawning drivers for safety. If they are found yawning 3 times, an alarm will go off. Something not to snooze about, though, is the bridge's price tag. According to Reuters, it cost over $15 billion. Other reports suggest around $20 billion. That's like nearly half the price of the FIFA 19 Ultimate Edition. The South China Morning Post reports that cross-border bus and truck drivers will soon be subject to the checks as their information is already held by Chinese authorities. Other private drivers could use the system in the future if they register their information beforehand. However, this is all just part of China's massive surveillance systems, many of which are designed by Chinese company Intellifusion. In Shenzhen, jaywalkers recognized by the same tech purportedly have had their faces blasted across massive LED screens and get a text informing them of their offense. In Beijing, some cops are wearing what the CSMP describes as a surround body camera with facial recognition technology. And in Zhengzhou, railway cops are reportedly wearing smart glasses with facial recognition technology to scope out suspects and those wanted by the law. Nearly all of this technology is run by artificial intelligence systems and bots that are controlled by the Chinese Communist Party. Nowhere is that more apparent than China's Xinjiang province, where the CCP reportedly uses AI to vet Muslims entering mosques and malls. But it's just not there. Forbes reports that China's AI system also blocks human rights activists and anti-corruption journalists from traveling. This trend of AI and mass surveillance systems seems like it's only going to continue, especially when China ramps up its social credit system in the coming years. Stick around for more shocking facts you didn't know about China. Who's gonna cheer up the mourners now? The Chinese government has launched a crackdown on funeral strippers and will reward tipsters for revealing information on such performances. It has been a long tradition for rural folks in China to use local opera performers for funerals to get people to attend and show respect to the deceased. However, since the 1990s, a funeral strippers phenomenon has emerged in some areas of China. The latest crackdown is focused on 19 cities across Henan, Anhui, Jiangsu, and Hebei province. The new campaign offers tipsters cash incentives when they report funeral misdeeds via a special hotline. In 2015, China's Xinhua news agency commented that the performances highlight the trappings of modern life in China, whereby vanity and snobbery prevail over traditions. Chinese skywalk looks like it's cracking when you walk on it. There's a lot of useless stuff in China. Here's one more. People with way too much time on their hands designed a glass skywalk on a mountain that pretends to crack while you're walking on it. Naturally, it scares the chicken chow mein out of the Chinese people that walk across. The skywalk hangs 1,180 meters up on the eastern face of the Taihang Mountain. It uses video screens and even adds sounds of breaking glass to make people think they're done for. Unfortunately, overreactors don't actually fall to their deaths. What a great idea, adding a cheap Chinese amusement park type thrill to a mountain hike. Next time you're in China, don't check this skywalk out. Go to an actual mountain without the lame gimmicks. China putting AI and facial recognition into classrooms. China needs to keep its 1.3 billion citizens in check, especially now that some of them have found the real world beyond the Great Firewall. To take Chinese control into the 21st century, Beijing is now shoving facial recognition and AI into the classroom. The West worries about things like individual privacy, while in China it's about as prevalent as clean air. According to a state media report, a high school in eastern China is testing facial recognition to see how engaged, aka bored, students in the classrooms are in real time. They claim the system can pick up 7 moods, including happy, sad, afraid, and angry by scanning a student's face. The camera in the front of the classroom can also track 6 types of behavior such as reading, writing, raising your hand, standing up, listening to the teacher, listening, and leaning on the desk. A social credit score for everyone, facial recognition to track ethnic minorities, and now AI in classrooms. It's a glorious time to be Chinese.
Big Brother is real, and he lives in Beijing. China is compiling a massive DNA database of people the communist government thinks are troublemakers, even those who've never committed a crime. According to Human Rights Watch, China's Ministry of Public Security has compiled a database with the DNA information of more than 40 million citizens. The Human Rights Watchdog says police are creating biometric profiles for people the government considers a threat, including political activists, migrant workers, students, and Uyghur Muslims. In some cases, authorities have demanded DNA samples before processing documents, such as residency permits, ID cards, and even passports. Last year, police in Xinjiang province required all passport applicants to submit their DNA. This came shortly after local cops budgeted the equivalent of nearly $12 million for biometric testing kits. Xinjiang province is in the far west of China. It's home to 10 million Uyghur Muslims and has a long history of state repression. Human Rights Watch says police in China have wide-ranging powers that make it difficult to refuse giving a DNA sample. The country also has no privacy rights and lacks an independent judiciary. The Human Rights Watchdog says China's DNA database violates ordinary citizens' right to privacy. Similar DNA systems have been outlawed elsewhere, such as in the European Union. Oh well, you know what they say, folks. If you got nothing to hide, you got nothing to fear. Yeah, right.
Uh-oh. The People's Republic of China has big plans for space. China is working on a newly planned station dated for a 2019 launch. Beijing expects it to be operational by 2022. The space station will be able to host up to 3 astronauts over 180-day periods. This is around the same time span that astronauts will spend on the International Space Station. China says their planned space station will orbit Earth at altitudes of between 340 kilometers and 450 kilometers. The ISS orbits at around 400 kilometers. China's space station may outlast the ISS, as that craft's future is unclear after 2025. Reportedly, the U.S. government is considering pulling its funding or privatizing it. According to Yahoo News, the U.S. has banned China from using the ISS since 2011.